How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the protocol. This is Minister Q. You know what, guys? Today I want to talk about this particular subject regarding a product that I'm sure that many of you probably seen on the shelves and was thinking to yourself, what is that? Which would be the marketing purpose behind such a product. But I want you guys to first hear about this founder of this product, and I want you guys to really see what I want to say about it. And then I want you guys to be well informed. If you can, please like, subscribe to the channel. That can help with the algorithm, and share this video. It will be worth sharing. Share this video. But guys, I want to play this because you guys need to know about this.
One exercise that we still do today, we ask the question, what is the dumbest possible idea we could do for this? Because our brains are wired to just repeat things that we've seen be successful in the past. You kind of have to trick your brain to come up with a bad idea to truly be thinking in sort of like innovative territory.
This is 40-year-old entrepreneur Mike Cesario. And when he devised the brand name for his product, he came up with something unconventional.
What's the dumbest possible name for a super healthy, safest beverage possible? Liquid Death.
Liquid Death, mountain water.
Probably the dumbest name.
Yeah, Liquid Death, water, in a can. Dumb name, skulls on the packaging. But according to Mike, the co-founder and CEO of Liquid Death, that's part of the reason why his company has brought in nearly $130 million in sales this year alone.
If I saw that in a store, or if someone I knew saw that in a store, I'm pretty sure they're gonna have to pick that up and be like, what is this? And once someone picks something up, you basically won.
There's three numbers to watch out for in Mike's story. 3 million, the number of views that Liquid Death's first commercial got on Facebook. 100,000, the amount of sales that Liquid Death made in its first month. And 195 million, the total amount of funding that Liquid Death has raised. Here's how Mike Cesario took a funny idea he once had for a commercial and turned it into a $700 million brand. For CNBC Make It, I'm Zach Green. This is Founder Effect. As a kid, Mike remembers an older cousin gifting him his collection of Mad magazines. It turned out to be a formative moment for him.
I just completely ate that stuff up, and it was kind of crass and vulgar, but it was art, and it was really funny, and it was spooky.
And it was. I don't know if any of you guys remember that TV show. I know for me, I think early 2000, late 90s. I'm not saying this to praise the TV show, but it had exactly what he said, that type of satire going on. But this is what kind of helped with his creative process regarding his product, Liquid Death, from what he's going to say. And then he's going to go into talking about the different marketing that he's done in the past with helping companies and things like that. Then he's going to go into some of the, what I would say, pretty genius ideas on way of market. But I want you guys to keep following because I'm going to tell you where the cons come in at.
Goofy.
Mike started playing guitar in punk bands and says one of them had several offers from recording labels to put out a record, but he also felt creatively drawn elsewhere.
I was doing the show flyers, designing the album covers, all the businessy, creative stuff.
Instead of pursuing a music career, Mike opted to attend the Art Center College of Design in Pasadena, California, studying graphic design and eventually advertising.
I just wanted to make people laugh, which is what really attracted me to advertising, because it seemed like it was more of a place for humor and comedy than graphic design was.
In 2009, a friend of Mike's put him on the backstage list for the Warped Tour in Denver, Colorado. Many of the bands were sponsored by Monster Energy.
I was just hanging out with them, and we saw.
Y'all familiar with Monster Energy, right? Are you guys not familiar with Monster Energy? I like to try to encourage you guys, and I want you guys to be able to do research on this, but there's been slight controversy around Monster Energy drink. And as you can see my cursor here, you guys, if you guys ever do research on the symbolism here and understand the Hebraic symbolism around Monster drink is very insightful. Do the research, you guys. Just bear in mind. Here we go.
These, stacks of what look like, Monster. These guys are drinking it, and it turns out like, oh, it's actually not Monster, it's water, because these guys don't actually want to drink these energy drinks. I remember thinking that that was kind of messed up.
These guys don't really want to drink these energy drinks. Take note of that.
I'm like, man, that's so sort of sneaky. It's like at that time, it was really only energy drinks who were throwing money at these guys, so they kind of had to take it. But at the same time, it started making me think about why aren't there more healthy products that still have funny, cool, irreverent branding? Because most of the funniest, memorable, irreverent branding marketing is all for junk food. Bud Light, Dos Equis, Snickers, Doritos, Red Bull. And that was, I think, planted the early seed of probably what ultimately ended up becoming Liquid Death.
Early in his career, Mike started working at ad agencies around the country. While the work wasn't always creatively fulfilling, his clients helped hone his own marketing philosophy.
We were working on Virgin America, the airline, and I started getting into Richard Branson. And I love Virgin's sort of business strategy, which was find a really stale category of products and be the one really cool, exciting product in it. And they were able to get all this market share really easily because they were just so disruptive and sticking out like a sore thumb in whatever kind of category that was.
Mike put his theory about funny advertising to the test while working at a firm in Nashville, Tennessee. The health food brand Organic Valley wanted them to come up with an ad campaign for their protein shake.
They were talking to like bros in the gym who are looking to, put on muscle. Like that's a big part of like the protein market. And they knew they had to market differently to those guys than they did like organic moms that they did most of their other products to. So venturing outside their comfort zone, we pitched them this idea of Save the Bros.
Every day, millions of bros drink protein shakes in order to get jacked, yoked, and totally swole. But most bros are unaware of the scary chemicals and artificial ingredients inside these shakes.
And they almost killed the idea right before it went live. And then we launch it and it goes completely viral.
But despite success in advertising, Mike still struggled creatively. So he decided to create his own brand, where he could control the marketing. After an unsuccessful try at
What I can say is this, as it says here, even though it was successful, he still felt like his gift was being suffocated. In regards to those of you out there who are believers, especially in Christ, don't suffocate the talents and gifts that God has given you. You know the story in scripture about the talents, the parable of the talents. God gave some 10, God gave some 5. And though that contextually was speaking about money, nevertheless, in our modern day time, money is not money without the skill of a person behind what money can buy. You understand what I'm saying? When money is used to buy product, there had to be someone who created the product. So really, you're buying into the idea of someone else. And there are those of you, you have great ideas. You have creative, powerful ideas, but you still working or doing things that your passion is not really being given to. And what God has created you for, you're not tapping into that because you're still working and doing things that are not really what you're gifted in. You understand what I'm saying? And it's nothing wrong, because scripture also talks about being faithful with little and you'll be faithful, and God will trust you with much. There comes a time where you have to work for others. That's okay. But in those stepping stones, make sure you don't neglect the gift that God has given you, because only then can you fulfill your purpose ultimately. So I just wanted to pull that out of the video as he was talking.
craft brandy, he remembered a pitch he had once made for a canned water ad, poking fun at energy drinks that the bands at the Warped Tour definitely weren't drinking.
You hear that? They wasn't even drinking these energy drinks, bands plural. But it says that he was poking fun at them. Like, look, y'all got all these energy drinks, but none of the bands drink them. And it's really interesting, because you would think if a person want to stay up longer, they will want some of that caffeine or those chemicals inside of their body to keep them going. But for them to be cognizant of their health speaks volumes. So Think about that. They are not drinking the energy drinks, but are you? It's your choice.
Always knew that there was something in that idea, and it kind of just stuck with me. And just on the side, over the next few years of working at random agencies, I was always just sort of continuing to develop this concept of canned water and like, what can it really be?
But how could a new product break into the crowded bottled water market, which is valued between $146 and $350 billion, according to PitchBook?
The only way the brand would have a chance at survival is the actual product itself has to be so insanely interesting, where so much of the marketing is baked into the product. Where if someone sees this on the shelf, am I willing to bet they have to pick it up because it's so weird or interesting, and then they're probably gonna take their phone out, take a photo of it, and post it on their social channels for free to their hundreds of followers.
Shock value. That's pretty much what sells, right, you guys? What have we seen over the last few years? Even at the expense of people being publicly offended by the imagery or the visuals, what's being said, controversy. He just said, how can I you have a niche to cut through the market of already saturated market of water? And he chose controversy. But the type of controversy is that question here, which is what we're going to get into.
To prove that the idea was viable, Mike decided to produce a commercial for it, despite having 0 cans in production.
We designed a 3D render of a can that looked real. I came up with a commercial idea for this brand that we shot for like $1,500. We put a few $1,000s in paid media to push the video out and to push the posts out over the course of maybe like 3 or 4 months.
Don't fall for the marketing bull. Water is not yoga. Water is liquid death.
4 months in.
It's interesting that they didn't even show the whole commercial there. If you guys haven't seen that particular commercial, it's interesting that CNBC will cut short to the, I mean, I'm not saying they got to play the whole commercial, but there's a scene in there that's controversial, and there's been fuss around it. But I'll leave that up for you guys to look into, okay? Because we're going somewhere here, okay?
The video had 3 million views. The page had almost 80,000 followers, which was more than Aquafina on Facebook at the time. And we had hundreds of messages and comments from people being like, this is the greatest thing ever. Where do I get this? Is this real? A 7-Eleven franchisee in Michigan reached out. How do I get this in my stores? So then I used all of that sort of social traction to then actually go get people to take me seriously. And we raised a small round of funding to actually produce a minimum run of like actual product.
Mike was able to raise $150,000 in initial funding, and after finding a water supplier in Austria, sold the first cans of Liquid Death online as a direct-to-consumer business.
Our first month, we made $100,000 in sales, and we spent about $2,000 on marketing. We sold out a product. We didn't order near enough what the demand was. We were sold out for like over a month.
The first big retailer to take an interest in Liquid Death was Whole Foods.
They're really big on sustainability. They loved our death to plastic message to kind of bring death to plastic bottles, cans infinitely recyclable. And they liked that we were talking about these things in a way that no other brand in their store was really doing. They said, hey, we want to launch you full national out of the gate in March of 2020. So we literally loaded into Whole Foods.
So they found their niche, right? They found a niche. I won't say there, I would say a, and I'm going to tell you why. And they was able to get the product into Whole Foods. Unheard of, the way they approached it. I'm seeing the business genius around what's happening here, but I'm also reveal to you guys what genius is really inspiring it. What genius of genius is inspiring this? You know, I'm okay with giving credit to one's talent and skill. But when I think about the motive or means to an end, and I'm thinking about the bigger picture, just hang in there. I'm going to share it with you in a minute.
It was March 15th, 2020, the week the pandemic lockdown started. So that came with its own host of problems, but we still started seeing like real growth in Whole Foods throughout the pandemic year.
While still far below brands like Dasani and Aquafina, Liquid Death's sales have grown from $2.8 million in its first year to $45 million in 2021. Mike says they're on track to hit $130 million by the end of this year.
One of the most surprising things to everybody with this was how wide the audience really was for something like this. Hundreds of parents who message us on social saying, "Thank you, Liquid Death, you finally got my 9-year-old excited to drink water instead of soda because he thinks he has something he's not supposed to have."
Because he thinks he has something he's not supposed to have. Because he thinks he has something he's not supposed to have. Means to an end. For those of you who already know about Liquid Death, do your research. Very controversial, very dark, cynical, sinister. The commercials you will see, very not becoming of a child being interested in it, especially. But look at this child. Do they look like... Let me say this. For those of you who have spiritual eyes, I can see how uncomfortable that looks. How not good that looks. If it takes for a parent who is struggling for their child to drink water, if it takes to come across a product that is very dark, Liquid Death, which I'm going to read the back of their can for you guys in a minute. And then I'm going to show you where is this going, okay? Because what I'm doing here is I'm acknowledging the fact that we have a guy here who took his creative ideas, his business, or his skill of learning how to market, and he took a product, created a product to market himself, to take the very skills he have and take his creativity to market the way he's done it. And it's genius, but what is all centered around it? What is the intent? That's what the catch is. Yes, it's good that they want to get water to people compared to a lot of the drinks out there that have all of these toxins that really don't belong in our body. That's a great virtue, right? Or is it just virtue signaling? That's for you guys to conclude on. Is it a virtue signal? Or is it not? Maybe there is something other hidden agenda, which I'm going to get to in a minute. Here you have a child, a mother calling and saying, "I'm thankful that my child, who I know is attracted to what's forbidden, typically knowing that my child is prone to doing things that I know they shouldn't." And even though the product is giving off dark, sinister, some would say vibes or impressions, and satanic imagery, which we're going to get into, yet if that's what it takes for my child to drink water, so be it. And these are the times we're in, you guys. This won't be the only product that does this. This won't be the only. There's going to be other subjects where people that don't know how to put up a fight against the dark will give in and say, hey, well, at least, they always go back to that at least excuse. Let's go.
The construction worker guy who goes to a 7-Eleven and typically buys 2 energy drinks now might be buying 1 energy drink and actually going and buying a Liquid Death. Liquid Death for me is, how do you get all these people who don't typically make healthy decisions to now all of a sudden want to participate in a healthy brand purely from the brand standpoint at first? and they just start incorporating it into their day.
Liquid Death has raised $195 million in funding and is valued at $700 million. A big part of that growth has been fueled by Liquid Death's appearance on the shelves of over 60,000 retail locations throughout the U.S., including 7-Eleven, Walmart, and Target, where it sells for about $1.89 a can. But more than anything, Mike says that it's creating an emotional connection to a brand that drives consumers.
People think that taste is why things are successful or unsuccessful, or why one brand is better than another. All the data shows that is not even close to the case. Monster didn't become a $50 billion company because it tastes so much better than Red Bull. Most people probably couldn't pick out an energy drink in a blind taste test if their life depended on it. Our brand is all about comedy and making people laugh. You know, we're not tying our brand to some specific niche like action sports.
It's all about comedy. I want y'all to see the imagery right quick. This is just, you guys may look at this and say, what's the big deal? You see these appealing looking stuffed dolls. But I don't even know if you even notice the uncomfortable imagery. Is this a bottle coming out of the heart or going into the heart? I want y'all to see this. Is this blood?
Our brand to some specific niche like action sports. So I think as long as we're constantly just riffing on culture, this can go basically for as long as something like Saturday Night Live is relevant, because you're literally just a part of culture and making people laugh. At the end of the day, we're really creating an entertainment company and a water company. Like, we don't want to create marketing. We want to actually entertain people, make them laugh in service of a brand. And if you can do that, they're going to love your brand because you're giving them something of value.
All right, guys. So I am going to begin to show you guys some things as to why this is a controversial product. Again, I wanted to kind of show the pros of marketing, taking your skills and talents and learning how to create a niche and a lane of your own, and the genius behind that, and taking water. Not to say there are not other water products, but the way he broke into that industry, it's a big deal. But what's also a big deal for those of us who know the truth about the light and the dark, the good and evil, this is where it gets controversial. So, where do I start? I want to start with reading. In fact, let me try to pull up their website. Let me bring up their website. Nothing is better than starting there. Let's see. This is what I'm going to do. You may not see as clear what I'm going to pull up, but I do want you guys to know they have a section here called Sell Your Soul. I'm clicking on Sell Your Soul. And what you see in what you will see here is a lot of satanic symbolism. He talks about satire. He talks about wanting to entertain. But guess what, guys? Satan's goal is to do whatever he can to appear as an angel of light, to call evil good and good evil, to draw in people and make them think that it's not that big of a deal. It's just entertainment. But hey, join this club. They have in here, you guys. And I know that you probably won't see it as clear, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do my best here. The Liquid Death Country Club. Sell your soul to join. Contract binding for all eternity. And as you can see, as you can see, now why did it do that? Let me do this. Hold on. The guy here is holding up the Baphomet symbolism. A lot of rock stars used to do that all throughout history. And people thought it was just, hey, it's just, for fun. We just throwing up, rock star hand signs. When the truth is, secret societies and cults are all too familiar. And Satanists, this is one of their satanic signs relating to Baphomet. So we have the sell your soul. Now, when we go to about, I'm not sure if they're going to give out too much information, but this is what they say. They say, let me see if I can do this here. One moment. We're just a funny water company who hates corporate marketing as much as you do. Our evil mission is to make people laugh and get more of them to drink more water more often, all while helping to kill plastic pollution. They love all these punch words. Kill, murder your thirst. This is what they do, you guys. So, this seems all good, right? Not so. Let's see. I'm trying to see if it's more information I want to share with y'all, because it seemed like there are some statements that I'm going to go to another website that was put up. Now, but this was interesting. I got to tell you guys this on this whole sell your soul, right? Joining a country club. I meant to tell you guys, look at this. Selling your soul to join a club gets you one free country club exclusive tee when you spend $50 on liquiddeath.com. Exclusive access to club only merchandise. Early access to limited edition merchandise before we announce to the public. Invites to private shows and events. Private shows and events. That's a red flag to me. It don't seem like it though, do it? But all kinds of other cool we can't tell you about yet. Trigger warning. I'm sorry, you guys, but just keeping it real. It is what it is. The word is there. For all those of you who are out there offended by that word, it is what it is. I'm trying to get you to see something here, you guys. Okay? You guys hear a lot of talk around selling your soul. And for those of you who don't know, they have a commercial where Tony Hawk literally gave his blood to place on exclusive skateboards that he sold. I don't know if it was online. I think it was online where people could order it. And somehow I think Liquid Death was sponsoring this or whatever, the commercial, and they was behind it all. Then you have this guy that you see here, also in one of their commercials, pricking his finger with blood and signing his blood on the contract. So what you find is them trying to make it seem like it's just entertainment. Oh, that's not a big deal. It's not really a real thing. And what it's doing to the mind is desensitizing you. For those of you who think this is light, this is nothing wrong with it, it's desensitizing you so that you don't think it's a big deal. That's what Satan wants. He wants you to not think it's a big deal. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get off of this and I'm going to show you something else, you guys. I want to show you guys this drink right here. This is the back of the can. Listen to how eerie this is all. Listen to how eerie this is. If you can't see it, it's okay. I'm going to read it. This frosty can of pristine Australian mountain water won't just refresh your body, it will murder your thirst. Our proprietary thirst murdering process begins with Liquid Death forming a rope of veins that will wrap around your thirst head and strangle it. This is where the satire is supposed to come in, y'all, but I'm going to tell you how this is all just demonic. Once Liquid Death reaches your thirst brain, all of your thirst memories will be replaced with repeating loops of its own head imploding, which is exactly what happens next by it causing your thirst head to implode and its brain to squirt out of its ears. Okay. Once your, let's see, oh boy, that's too much. Hold on, guys. I've done too much here. Okay. Once your thirst has, but actually this might help. Let me see what it's saying. All right. That might help. One moment. I'll just leave it here. Once your thirst has been murdered, the soul of your thirst will begin to escape and float towards the ceiling. At this point, drink a second sip of Liquid Death to rip its soul back down and force it to begin gluing its own body parts together so that it can crawl back inside you and eventually grow into a fully formed thirst once again. And I know there are those of you will laugh and you would say, oh man, that's funny. They just being really, the thing about this company, which I'm going to get to another site, and they kind of share some information that they've gathered in research during a time where it was really where it was beginning to be seen as very controversial. So let's get there. All right. Shout out to these particular bloggers. Their blog site, the theonerds.com. These are theological discussions on this blog site where they talk about a lot of different things that they've seen in the media and they kind of giving commentaries on and creating blogs about. You just got to check this site out. It's called Theo Nerds, and they are Christians, followers of Christ. And I want to read some things that they've said here, okay? And bear with me because it's been a long day. I'm a little tired, but I'm going to try my best to get through this, okay? But this is what they say. Satanic brand entices customers to sell their souls for a can of water. Okay? Listen. If you think Esau got the short end of the stick for selling his birthright for a bowl of soup, Satanic Water Company, you hear that? Satanic Water Company. Liquid Death is offering a t-shirt and club access if you purchase their canned water in exchange of your soul. And this is the commercial of the guy that I showed on their website. And that's the commercial. You guys can also see it on YouTube. Come on, kids. Even Tony Hawk is doing it. He's cool, right? Because you also have a commercial with Tony Hawk where I told you guys he was giving his blood. Liquid Death premiered in early 2019. You guys can go and you can look all that up yourself. It's all on Google. But this is what's interesting. Righteous retorts are ridiculed and then used in their advertising, such as this rebuke from a Christian, which I'm going to share with you, that they do have moments where they are mocking Christianity. They have other advertisement where it gives off very telling pornographic scenario innuendos. Then they have, which we're going to get to in a minute. Let me just read this. So this was Liquid Death Mountain Water. This is a post that they had. Let me see. Okay. The billions of plastic bottles polluting the earth are now overflowing into the underworld, aka hell. where they are ruining the delicate demon ecosystem. You hear that? Delicate devil or delicate demon ecosystem. An island of plastic trash now floats in their demon ocean, choking the three-headed demon fish and demon turtles. In the last 40 years, less than 10% of plastic has been recycled. Aluminum is infinitely recyclable, and of all the aluminum produced since 1888, over 75% is still in current use. The demons need our help. What? The demons need our help. Join us in our mission to keep, etc., etc., etc. So they appear basically making it seem like, hey, this is all fun and games. The demons need our help. Join us. So they saying that you could join a private club. How deep does that rabbit hole go? And somebody posted this. Antonio V said, you think it's funny to joke about eternal damnation. You guys need Jesus immediately. So he's making a valid point. You think it's funny to joke about eternal damnation. Now here's where it gets even more controversial. As they say here, Liquid Death is overpriced aluminum canned water that retailers don't even want on their shelves due to its name. Of course, this is the bias of this site, but all of us who know better will agree. Apart from its unappealing name and logo, torture, and you say torture, watch this, torture, pornography, environmental shamanism, witchcraft, and Christian ridicule are used to market the brand, which hides behind a pretense of health. I'm not going to say that it's a pretense of health because they are giving water, but do I trust the water? No. An environmental concern to target people who don't know about target people who don't care about their health or the environment. I'm not going to say that they don't care about the environment or health, but nevertheless, I do not trust them. I do not trust the brand. And I pray that you guys do research. And if you are a Christian, you dang sure should not even be considering letting you drinking this, your kids drinking this, and I'm going to share with you why. And even those of you who are not Christian, if you're weary or wary of demonic stuff, I'm going to share some more stuff with you guys in a minute. But this is interesting. Theo Nerds said this about themselves on Facebook. That Theo Nerds was banned from Facebook advertising for running ads attempting to promote anti-porn services. Such a phenomenon exposes that the quote-unquote brand safety propaganda that big tech touts is, in reality, a front to censor views they find politically distasteful, thus Christianity. And of course, I add conservative views. As we know, a lot of big tech companies seem to shadow ban conservative views or Christian views. It's been happening, you guys, and that's why I'm saying this. Satanism has been on the rise. People have been becoming more and more curious and desiring to do things in the dark, and even some explicitly open, as you would see with the ads. Some of these ads are explicit. The pornographic one, when I saw it, I'm like, whoa. This woman, they had to blurt out her language, but it was obvious she was talking about sex. They had they don't blurt out the imagery that you could read between the lines on. And this commercial right here, where I told you the other network cut out the full commercial, she's torturing her man. She's torturing a man with the water. Where he basically waterboarding is where, as you know, there have been cases discussed about how one of the ways that when being tormented to get people to speak, they used to do this thing called waterboarding, where they put this cover over their face and then they pour water on their face. It's a very serious form of torture. And this is what they say. Take, for example, this advertisement that portrays a woman torturing a man. This shows the viewer how to conduct a torture technique known as waterboarding. It's a trip, you guys. Then it goes on to talk about violation of YouTube and why they're not going after them for this or whatever the case may be. And then it's showing here but listen to this. This is interesting. CEO of Liquid Death, Mike Cesario, as we saw in the other video, you guys can look this up, research it, who featured in an advertisement disguised as a documentary. Check the sponsored tag on the top left at the start of the video. Flaunts a t-shirt of the satanic band Decide or Decide. Decide are notorious for hits such as Death to Jesus, F Your God, and Kill the Christian, and whose lead singer literally claims to share a spiritual link with Lucifer. So yeah, this is not an act. To use advertisement that blatantly celebrate evil things is to dehumanize the population. When righteousness goes out the window at large in a society through the glorification of evil, don't be surprised that immoral people land up in positions of authority over you. So shout out to Theo Nerds. You guys can look at their blog. They have other interesting things that you guys could check out. But that's not where it stops. That's not where it stops, guys. There's a young lady that I saw who noticed and was able to screenshot some things that she's seen that actually reveals that there are witches or there were witches invited to actually cast spells over the water. Let me find it for you. One moment.
I'm sure most of you already know this with how popular it is right now to be like a plant mom, plant dad, you know. But over the years, there's been all of these experiments done that showed how important the words we use are. People learned that speaking to their plants had a positive effect on the growth and the health of the plant overall. They also found that talking to water could change the crystalline structure of it. This article right here says, when love and gratitude were spoken near the water, water crystals formed beautiful geometric shapes. But when evil words were uttered near another sample of water taken from the same source, the crystals smashed and turned into destructive shapes. This is how the water looked when you spoke beautiful things onto it. And this top row is how it looked when they spoke nasty things to it. And then the bottom row here again is positive things. So now that we know just by speaking to water and plants, you can change the entire structure of it. As humans who are made up of a huge percentage of water, I'm sure most of you already know this with how popular it is right now to be like a plant mom, plant dad, you know. But over the years, there's been all of these experiments done.
Hold on, you guys. The reason why she brought that up is because there have been tests such as what she's saying right now. And remind you, as the thumbnail of the video says, deaf water versus living water, which I'm going to get to why I bring up the living water part. But check this out. This same young lady, shout out to her, is going to say in this other video, which I'm going to get to, what she noticed. Check this out.
As humans who are made up of a huge percentage of water,
Oops.
why would you think it's okay to water yourself with something that's hexed with negativity? Let's really look at this. Celebrity mass murderer of thirst. Don't be scared, it's just water. Murder your thirst. So off rip, it's already called liquid death. You should want living water. You're a living being. Mass murderer of thirst. I know you think that words don't matter, but they do. And the words that you speak onto yourself matter the most. Liquid Death's cursed canned water makes you a demon magnet. For October and the Halloween season, they got a whole batch of water that has been officially cursed by a real witch doctor. This certified cursed stock is exclusive to October and promises to transform you into a magnet for demons. And this article is from 2019, but to be fair, when I first posted this, it was 2020.
It's from 2019, but when she first posted it was from 2020. Listen to this, you guys. It says it right here. Published October 17, 2019. Who is this? Joe DeVita. Liquid Death's cursed canned water makes you a demon magnet. You hear that? Liquid Death's cursed canned water makes you a demon magnet. Remember Liquid Death, the canned mountain water company we told you about back in the spring? They've got a whole batch of water that has been officially cursed by a real witch doctor. This certified cursed stock is exclusive to October and promises to transform you into etc., etc., etc. Transform you into what? Now, this was published again, October 17, 2019. And the person who got this post up is Joe DeVita. Don't know who he is, but let me see if I can find some sources. Now, what's interesting, you guys, it says this video is private. It's interesting that the video is private. I'm going to share with you what site this is. Give me a moment. So, this particular website, we're going to keep digging. It's Muse by, what's this? MuseByCL.io. Muse by Cleo, but it's MuseByCL.io. And it's the title, as you can see. It says Liquid Death. Oh, man. Hold on. Liquid Death, the canned water was cursed by a witch for Halloween. Quench your thirst, but not your soul. Just in time for Halloween, canned water brand Liquid Death hired a practicing witch to cast a hex on its October stock. Consumers of certified cursed Liquid Death will become quote-unquote magnets for demons. Don't believe us? That's cool. See for yourself. Oh, Jesus. I hope the gore doesn't offend you guys. But if it does, I think I'll make a point. Oh, that's too much. Well, and that is one of their ads, y'all. That's one of their ads. But listen to this. It says this. The guy up there is Mystic Dylan, a practicing witch who offers custom spell work for $150 a pop. His real voice is a lot less, quote unquote, we are legion. So this is what I'm gonna do. Let's look up Mystic Dylan. Okay. Let's find out who is this Mystic Dylan. Whatever. Oh, wow. Interesting. Interesting, guys. Let's see what we got here. I think he even has a book on Amazon.com. Witchcraft for the Home. Spells, Rituals, and Remedies. Witchcraft for the Home. Spells, Rituals, and Remedies for a Magical Dwelling. I guess this, yep. Dylan Mystic on Amazon. Let me see what that looked like. Okay. Here you go. Isn't that interesting? Let's go to his Instagram. Oh, yeah. It says it right there, y'all. Professional witch, psychic, author. Does he have a video? Oh, boy. Um, yeah. Yes, indeed. Yeah, it's pretty obvious. Pretty obvious. So this is what I'm gonna do. Let's see how his voice sound. Let me bring up a video.
Hi all, this is Mystic Dylan and my first official video is going to be about coming out of the broom closet. So, one of the questions that I get asked all the time is how...
Okay. So I'm not gonna go into, what I'm not gonna do is go into any further care of knowing what he has to say. The evidence is obvious. And in that advertisement, it spoke about, I guess, his voiceover work, if I'm not mistaken, from what we just looked at. But you guys can do research from there. But let me see if it's any more other evidence about him cursing the... So it's a few sites saying and seem to be verifying that there was definitely this curse put on it. So we just did Muse by Cleo, Loudwire. Let me go to Loudwire. This is another site. They saying same thing. Liquid Death's cursed can water makes a demon magnet. So it's all centered around that whole demon magnet. I'm sorry. It's all centered around that whole demon magnet. Remember Liquid Death, that can of mountain water company we told you about? Again, same thing. This certified curse stock is exclusive to October and promises to transform you into a magnet for demons. Wow. Let me move my head. See that? Magnet for demons. Wow. You don't even need to buy a physical costume. Just drink a can of Liquid Death and fill yourself with unholy spirits. Just a heads up, you might want to be wary of the dude in the priest costume at the party you're going to. In the video below, Mystic Dylan, you guys see it? Mystic Dylan, we looked him up. Dude is a legit witch doctor. Scribbles some sigils on the floor and performs the ritual, levying the powerful curse upon the unsuspecting batch of mountain water. Yeah, Fiji might be Earth's finest water, but if it won't actually lead to genuine demonic possession, what has their water actually done for you lately? You're probably wondering, demonic possession sounds like a blast, but I've got some to do. Am I correct? See, look, I'm just telling you, y'all, this is Loudwire, who done a research also. And because I know this video has been quite long, I just wanted to give you guys just enough information. But I want to share some scriptures with y'all, okay? Because wow. Wow, wow, wow. This is very, very telling. Very, very telling. Yes, I am having a tiresome night, y'all. But I truly wanted y'all to be informed, because you don't play with demonic spirits. It's serious, y'all. Don't play with the devil. But let me give y'all some scriptures, okay? I want to show y'all something. Okay. So we just heard, we just read, we just listened to Death Water. right? But the Bible talks about living water. The creator of all things, the creator of all, Yahweh, the Most High God, sent his only begotten Son, Jesus Christ, Yahshua, Yahoshua, Hebrew, Hamashiach, Yahoshua, Hamashiach, the Messiah. And this is what he said. This is what he said in John 14, John 4:14. But whoever drinks of the water that I will give him will never be thirsty again. The water that I will give him will become in him a spring of water welling up to eternal life. Why invite demons in your soul? Why invite demons in your body that leads to death? Because it's called liquid death, and the wages of sin is death, when you can have real, true, living water that springs up into eternal life. God will send his spirit on the inside of you, and that living water, it springs into eternal life. He says in John 7:38, whoever believes in me, as the scripture has said, out of his heart will flow rivers of living water. You hear that? Rivers of living water. And finally, I'm going to end with this one. And he said to me in the book of Revelation, you guys read it. It says, blessed are those who read the book of Revelation. And he said to me, it is done. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. To the thirsty, I will give from the spring of water of life without payment. Without payment. So what God has to offer you, you don't even have to pay for it. You don't even have to pay for it. The eternal life that Jesus Christ offers you, you don't have to pay for it. It's free. But what you do is you want to be a part of the trend, and you want to go and purchase water called liquid death, death water, when you could have living water that's eternal, where you don't thirst again. Something to really think about. Something to really think about. So guys, be wise. Know the truth about life. Know the truth about eternal life. God wants the best for you. God wants you to have life, because we are in the last hours, you guys. This is why we're seeing so much darkness right now. This is why we're seeing so much evil. God wants to offer you life. He wants you to understand the truth, and the truth will make you free. But you got to call on Jesus. You got to turn to him. There's no other way. People out here trying to find another way. They turn into all these spiritual practices that's allowing more and more demons in. And it's making it easy for Satan to use people to actually get witches to cast spells on items that's inviting even more demons in. But with that being said, you guys, do your own work. Do your own research. Don't just take my word for it, even though I gave you the sources. But whatever the case may be, I pray the best for you. Please like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe and share this video. Share this video, you guys. I want the algorithm to go up. I want people to be informed. And with that being said, look, you guys go out and have a great day. And remember to follow the protocol. God bless.